Good morning, my friends. This morning we are headed out to take care of one of our commercial clients today. This is a client who's been with me since the beginning of this journey. They are lovely, and I do a total of 5 properties for them right now. And the place where we are going today is a trio of apartment buildings on in Capitol Hill in Seattle. And I tend to decorate these buildings in a lot of hot, vibrant colors. One of them, actually 2 of them, have very shaded entry areas that we decorate. And so I still have some of my shade product packed up in the truck. And then there are 2 sets of containers that receive a little bit more sun. One of them is full hot sun, and the other one is a part sun condition. So in any event, I thought it might be fun to take you along with me, and you get to see what I am playing with. And one other thing you're going to notice throughout this video is that I choose to marry my sunny spaces and my shady spaces with the use of color. I want it to feel like a cohesive landscape. So I'm setting a tone of reds, oranges, pops of yellow, pops of bluish purple. You know how we talked about in container design? Even when I go hot, I like a little cool hint just to bring it back down. So you are going to see me use that palette throughout these complexes today. And so with that being said, maybe I'll show you what's in my van to give you a taste of what's going in. And then I'm also going to be loading up these beautiful red zonal geraniums today. This is, let's see if we get a flowering one. This is a zonal geranium. It is called Americana Red. This is a vibrant producer. I find that the Americanas get really big and blousy and lovely. They're one of the biggest performers for me. I'm also going to bring along potentially some of this Calibracoa. This is a really sweet one. It's called Bumblebee Orange, and you get some nice bicolor there. It's a great thing to marry up a couple different color schemes. The other thing I have is, we talked about bringing in some cooler tones. I have this beautiful purple, deep purple lobelia. It's actually called Uno Dark Blue. I've already gone through a flat of this year. And then what else do I have going on? Oh, we talked about this. This is autumnal fuchsia. I ended up snagging 2 flats of it at the nursery, so very excited to use that. I'm gonna bring some sweet potato vine, some other little goodies. So let's pack the truck and on we go. So welcome to the truck. I'm gonna show you what I packed yesterday. These are the leftovers, and this is what is gonna go in some of the shadier containers today, and then we're gonna bring in some more sun-loving elements. Alrighty, in the truck, we have autumnal fuchsia, marguerite sweet potato vine, some blackie sweet potato vine, some helichrysum, and then of course here I have some Gardenmeister fuchsia. There is a little bit of a shadier area that I want some height in, so we're gonna bring those in. I also have some of this parrot's beak and helichrysum. Moving down here, we've got some of that great impatience, this just insane begonia. And for some of the sunnier pots, you're gonna notice I've tucked in some Calibracoa, some Rygar begonia, again, super awesome. And this is a Plecanthus right here. It's got a great fuzzy texture. That one does well in sun. And then back there, that's actually a really flexible coleus that can handle a variety of conditions. I also have some lantana. And then over here, these are my part sun containers. So I've got this gorgeous lobelia. This is the Magadi blue. And then I have brocade fire, another geranium that I'm probably going to mix in with some of that Americana. The brocade stays a little bit more compact, whereas the Americana tends to get a bit bigger. Of course, more lobelia. And this is one called Red Threads. And then way in the back here, this is Capilla. And Capilla, I don't know if you can see these little tube-shaped blooms, but this one is really amazing for hummingbirds. It's just a great selection. And then down here at the bottom, I have some New Guinea Impatiens Clockwork Orange. This is, oh my gosh, none of this is blooming right now, but this is sensational. If you are not familiar with ivy geraniums, get familiar. These things are so great. They can take some shadier conditions, super drought tolerant. I absolutely love these. I'm already on the hunt for, I have the red here, but I'm on the hunt for some white. And then again, I've got some giant coleus, which is going to be fabulous. And then that is all I've left from the flat of tricolor Hebe. That sucker is just such a workhorse. And then bring in here, I've got fresh soils. I have a little bit of my Biotone starter fertilizer right there. And we're gonna get off to the races. Okay, my friends, so here we are in front of the property, and what is kind of cool is they have these almost like trapezoid brick elevated planters. And what I like to do with these in the summer months, because we are under a really heavy canopy of maples, is I love to flood this area with impatiens. So for this installation, I've picked out a 3-way color scheme. There's white, there's a vibrant orange, and then that vibrant violet shade of the Amara impatiens. So we're gonna get those in. And then on either side of the front door, we're also gonna plant a Gardenmeister fuchsia that hopefully will just flower and be amazing all summer long. All right, friends, I'm gonna start this bedding planter in, and by the way, the term bedding literally means just flowers that you put in a plant bed, annuals that are great for a flower bed. So in any event, I'm gonna start this off the way I do every single one. And essentially when the summer months come on, we've got the Japanese forest grass, we've got beautiful hostas, we have our tassel ferns coming back here. They look absolutely gorgeous. So I like to keep these 2 beds really simple and just put in big swaths of colors of impatiens that will fill in this entire area. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of potting soil, amending the top with some starter fertilizer, and then we're off. Okay, next, I have purchased, because I put so many in here, I have purchased pack impatiens. What this means is that instead of them being in individual 4-inch containers, this is what they refer to as a pack or a pack flat. A pack flat means they fill one of those big 10 by 20 trays completely chock full of a flower. Now, what's really fun about these is you get a lot of bang for your buck. These are going on early in the season, and so they have plenty of time to grow, and I also want to make sure this has full coverage. So in this one, you can actually see I've got 3 different plants here, and they're super easy. I just take them apart like this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set everything out first, and then I'm gonna speed through and dig them all in. So with these oranges, you can kind of see, I'm gonna work through here, and I'm gonna go 1 color at a time. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm creating big drifts of color. All right, here we go. Next, I'm moving on to, I've just finished the orange, I'm moving on to Amara XDR Violet. Last but not least, the Amara XDR White. So one thing that is really fun is we've actually been working on this soil health here for a number of years. When we first started in at this property, this bed was really, really compact. Lots of weeds. It was just, it was lovely, but there was just a lot of competition. And so what we've done over the years is just every time we come, we amend, we put in more fertilizer, and now we have this like lush, lovely soil that, we don't even have to use tools to get into. It is fantastic. Okay, and last but not least, this product, we had it really well watered in the nursery holding zone. but I still like to give it just a little hit to get it settled in. All right, now we are on either side of the front door, and I like how I've set this up. The coarse grass is so happy, but I like to have like a little centerpiece moment since they don't have actual containers on either side of the front door. So I love to have a little centerpiece moment, and then I'm gonna continue the color story up here by planting out all of my bedding plants of this Amara impatiens. And as per usual, I'm gonna amend the soil. I'm gonna dump in about a half a bag on either side of the front entry and a handful of the biotone. And again, any fertilizer is really gonna do. We just wanna recharge this soil, you know, so it's off to a good start for the growing season ahead. And what I love about this selection is, again, we talked about kind of like our hot colors, our cool moments, and this has the variegation to the leaf that's a little bit silver. And again, silver just glows in the shade garden. So I love using this fuchsia firecracker in these shadier locations. Now with this bedding plant as well, up here we're just focusing in a smaller location as opposed to down below. And so I've planned for 9 color spots. I'm not gonna do them in drifts of 3. I'm gonna do them a little bit more polka dot style. So perfect. It's simple, it's bright, it's cheery. I think if I lived here, I would love to see this coming home to my apartment. All right, Andy is the building manager here and is just the most kind guy. And he planted this pot, oh my gosh, how many years ago? 3 years ago, 4 years ago? In any event, this is a great example of a texture pot. I actually tucked in the fern just for a little added texture, but we have this beautiful hosta. He's underplanted with Japanese forest grass on either side. And so one thing that I like to do is I like to just add a tiny little color spot. So I had some impatiens. This is the New Guinea Clockwork Orange. And I just want to add a little tiny color, a little something fun that will kind of fill in. He's got one little spot here where I like to tuck treasures. And so I always bring a little extra something. Even though this pot isn't on our radar, I just feel like if I can add just a little extra something, it's kind of nice too. And this guy, these New Guinea impatiens, they will get about this big and it will get really full coming out the front. So as soon as you walk up, you'll be hit with this just electric punch of orange, and it will marry this pot to the rest of the landscape, because I'm always trying to, I want everyone to look like they're at the same party, you know what I mean? So by just putting a little tiny pop here, it marries the whole thing together. All right, friends, another container. This is a different apartment complex just around the corner, and these containers take a beating. They are in full sun. They may be under this little evergreen here, but man, this is southern facing and it gets blasted. So I'm gonna demo this container and we'll throw in some nice, beautiful, sun-loving animals. Okay, friends, you've seen me strip this out, add a little bit of potting soil, add some nutrients with some fertilizer back into this container, and now we're on to planting. For this building, I know that it's only gonna get water a couple times a week, and so I want to put some things in here that I just know are gonna be giant workhorses and perform no matter what. So I have a little lemon cypress here. I'm gonna be using 2 of these stunning Americana red geraniums, which they are so beautiful and just such a bright punch. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this little guy. This is called a Plecanthus. I always say that wrong. Whatever, I won't apologize. Lemon twist. And this one is kind of a nice mid-story layer. And it marries in the chartreuse from our little cypress here with the deeper green of the geraniums. Next, I am going to put in a sweet potato vine. This one is called Blackie. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want another depth of color down here. This reads as kind of a purple tone, which is really, really lovely. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop in, I think I'm gonna do it out this way. I'm gonna pop in a little Calibrachoa. This is Uno Dark Blue. Use it all the time. Love it with red, love it with orange. And then last but not least, a little Lantana. This is Lucky Red, and he loves the heat too. So I'm gonna put him over here. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna do this instead. Yeah, I'm gonna do this instead. This might benefit from a little bit more shade here. It might flower better if it isn't just totally hot. This stuff, I saw it growing in Costa Rica. So I know I can put this sucker in 100-degree weather and it's gonna be happy as a clam. So let's pot her up. All right, last duo for today. This is a really good example of a container that is part sun. So it's really in this open area here. It doesn't get much sun until late afternoon. I would say probably like 1 o'clock, it'll start getting hit with some sun. But all morning it's in the shade. So I can use a bunch of really flexible things, and I can also put some shadier things on this backside, because as people come down this staircase, it's kind of fun to have a little surprise back here. In any event, this juniper has been in here a couple years. I'm gonna let it go probably another year, because it is pushing out really beautiful new growth. So in any event, you're gonna see me strip this guy out, and we are gonna utilize the same color combinations because all 3 of these apartment buildings are managed by the same company, and so I'd like them to have the same energy. Okay, so I wanted to go and bring in a couple more things. These pots actually, they take a surprising amount of product. The ivy still looked good. I really liked the variegation, so I'm leaving it in. In the middle, I put a coleus. This is a 1-gallon Gaze Delight. And remember how we talked about scale in Container Design 101? When we have a pot like this, it actually is gonna be important that we put quart and gallon-size items in this container so it feels settled. If we just pop in a bunch of 4-inch items, it's not gonna have the same impact. On either side, we carried through our geranium, Americana red. In the back here, I just put a little tiny Impatience, it's a violet, and I wanted to bring in some more cool tones. Right here, we have the Magadi blue, Lobelia. I put another one on the back side here. And then we also have the Marguerite sweet potato vine. This is the Lotus, the Parrot Speak trailer. Then I felt like I needed 2 more things. So I brought in this is Pachoa. This is a hybrid between Petunia and Calibrachoa. It's called Pachoa. So it doesn't have the sticky leaves that a Petunia would, and it's a little bit more petite like a Calibrachoa. But it's still robust like a Petunia. And then over here, this is a really interesting selection. It's called Alternathera Red Threads. And the reason I want to point this out is because when you're doing a container, I think the reason a lot of people's containers feel one-dimensional is that a lot of people forget texture. It is really important to have some non-blooming elements within a container for it to feel balanced. It gives the eye just a little moment to rest. And then what's great about this Alternathera, the red threads, is that it brings out this color in the coleus perfectly. So she is. All All right, friends, this is another container and it has one of my favorite shade loving centerpieces. This is a Mahonia. It's called Soft Caress. It's one of my favorite Mahonias, and it'll pump out this little yellow bloom, and it's so just sculptural and lacy, and I just absolutely love it. This container is one that only gets sun when it's directly overhead. So I treat this as a full shade container. And in fact, there is a little bit of a leaf canopy above that it's gonna kind of filter that through. So in any event, I brought a little sampler plate of goodies. So we're gonna see what we come up with. Actually, that is pretty darn cute. Okay, this is pretty darn cute. I have a heliotrope here. This is a little bit of the purple. And if you see what I do, actually, this is a really great point. I do this subconsciously, but I think it's important that I tell people that I do this. So I have my cool tones at an angle here. We've got purple heliotrope. I've got a little bit of pink in the middle, which can go both ways. And then I have the lobelia, the Magadi blue on this side. So I'm cutting at an angle here. Across this side, I have some hot tones. I've got the Clockwork Orange. I've got my Coleus in the middle. This one is Main Street, Alligator Alley. I've got another orangey over here. And then out the front, I have this Chartreuse, which adds a lot of vibrance. I have a leftover ivy on the back side and a little bit of a chorus off the back side as well. And then out the front, I'm also gonna bring in a beautiful pink bloom. This is the autumnal fuchsia that I just love so much. I think this is killer. We've already prepped this container with potting soil and fertilizer, so it's time to tuck them in. I also have one more impatiens. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sneak it off the backside. That's super cute. Whenever I look at this, I want to make sure that the plants look like they're having a conversation with each other. I want them evenly spaced. What I was noticing is this Coleus was shoved back even a little bit farther than I wanted, so I brought him forward. You'll also notice that I've kept my trailers a little bit back from the rim. I've decided, each one of these is gonna get a little bit full in its own right, and I want it to have similar dimensions to my lobelia here, which is already making its way into the arrangement, and I love this. I love it when plants play with each other. I don't like my plants to feel like separated, like they need their own little space. I like them when they weave in together. So in any event, this is looking fantastic. All right, friends, I am down to my last 2 containers, but I hope you've enjoyed coming along, day in the life of a landscape designer. We have tackled a variety of conditions, which I really wanted to show you. I wanted to show you how I created a color story for a commercial client that has full shade, dappled shade, full sun, afternoon sun, and I think we've done just that. In any event, thank you so much for coming along. I'm gonna see you in the next one, and in the meantime, please say hello to your garden for me.